What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is how you think? It's not your background, your resources, or your past that defines your future. It's your mindset. The way you view yourself, your abilities, and your challenges has the power to either limit you or launch you. Your thoughts shape your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your reality. Science and experience both tell us that success isn't just about talent or timing. It's about perspective, persistence, and the mental patterns you build every day. In this video, you're going to learn how to train your mind to think bigger, break through limitations, and face every obstacle with the mindset of someone who cannot be stopped. You'll discover how your thoughts create your outcomes, how to grow through discomfort, how to build unshakable mental strength, and how real people have transformed their lives by changing their thinking. This isn't just about motivation, it's about transformation. So if you're ready to rise, evolve, and become unstoppable, keep watching. Because your breakthrough doesn't start with what's around you, it starts with what's within you. Number 1, the power of thought. Your thoughts are the foundation of everything you do, feel, and become. The way you think determines how you see the world, how you react to challenges, how you approach opportunities, and ultimately the results you achieve. Every success or failure you experience begins as a thought. Your beliefs, habits, and behaviors don't appear out of nowhere. They grow from the mental seeds you plant every day, whether you're aware of it or not. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "that's not possible for someone like me," those thoughts will shape your actions. You'll hesitate, self-sabotage, or avoid risks altogether. But if you begin with the belief that you're capable, resilient, and evolving, your choices will follow that belief. You'll try harder, bounce back quicker, and keep moving forward. That's the power of thought. It's the internal script that either drives you or limits you. Your mindset is more than just positive thinking. It's the filter through which you interpret the world. It determines what you focus on, what you expect, and what you believe is possible. And the most transformative shift begins when you move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. A fixed mindset believes that abilities are static. You're either talented or not, smart or not, worthy or not. People with a fixed mindset avoid failure at all costs because they think it defines them. They fear challenge because it exposes their perceived limitations. On the other hand, a growth mindset believes that everything can be developed with effort, learning, and persistence. Challenges are not proof of inadequacy. They're opportunities for growth. Setbacks aren't signs of failure. They're stepping stones. When you adopt a growth mindset, you stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as feedback. You stop fearing failure and start embracing learning. And that single shift in thinking opens the door to becoming truly unstoppable. But how do you know if you're stuck in a limiting belief? It often shows up as self-talk. The things you say to yourself without even thinking. Phrases like, "I'll never be good at this," "That's just who I am," or "I don't deserve that kind of success," are warning signs. They feel like facts, but they're really just stories you've repeated so often. You've accepted them as truth. And the most powerful part, you can change those stories. Just because you've believed something for a long time doesn't mean it's true. You have the ability to rewrite the narrative. Start by identifying a limiting belief that's been holding you back. Then question it. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it really true? What evidence do I have that supports a more empowering belief? When you shine a light on these hidden thoughts, they begin to lose their power. And in their place, you can choose to plant stronger, more liberating beliefs. Tools like affirmations and visualization aren't just trendy self-help ideas. They're grounded in psychology and neuroscience. When you repeat a positive affirmation, you're training your brain to adopt a new belief. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about creating a new mental pathway. The brain is plastic, meaning it can change. This concept, called neuroplasticity, proves that you're not stuck with the wiring you were born with. Your thoughts, when repeated consistently, reshape your brain. That's why affirmations like "I am capable," "I grow through challenges," or "I am becoming the person I want to be" are so powerful. They help you become who you already are deep down, but may have forgotten because of fear, doubt, or conditioning. Visualization takes this even further. When you imagine yourself achieving your goal, vividly and emotionally, your brain begins to respond as if it's already happening. Neural patterns light up, and your body starts aligning with that vision. High-performing athletes, entrepreneurs, and creatives all use visualization because it programs the mind for success. When you can see it, feel it, and believe it in your mind, you become far more likely to make it happen in real life. Visualization creates clarity and emotional alignment. It gives you a roadmap and reminds you of who you are becoming, even when the journey gets tough. Intentional thinking is the daily habit of choosing your thoughts instead of letting them choose you. Most people wake up and immediately start reacting to their phones, the news, their to-do list. But if you want to think, grow, and become unstoppable, you have to take control of the mental conversation. Start your day with intention, set a vision, speak a powerful affirmation, choose one empowering thought, and anchor yourself in it. Throughout the day, when doubts creep in and they will pause and redirect, ask, what would my future self think in this moment? Or what thought will move me forward instead of hold me back? This kind of mental discipline doesn't come overnight, but over time it builds mental strength like a muscle. And just like physical training, the more you practice, the stronger you become. There's real science backing all of this. Studies in cognitive behavioral therapy show that changing your thoughts can directly influence your emotional state and behavior. Research on mindset by psychologists has proven that believing in growth leads to greater resilience, motivation, and achievement. Neuroscience shows that your brain responds to what you think, and the stories you tell yourself literally shape your perception of reality. Your thoughts are not just private whispers in your mind, they're the blueprints of your life. So if you want to live a different life, you have to think differently first. Success isn't just about what you do, it's about how you think about what you do. And if you want to grow beyond your current reality, the most important shift you can make is in your thoughts. Ultimately, your thoughts either empower you or imprison you. They either build you up or break you down. And the beautiful truth is, you get to choose them. You are not your past, you are not your fears, you are the thinker of your thoughts, and that means you have the power to change them. When you take that power back, you stop being a victim of circumstance and become the creator of your own path. And that's how you begin to grow, not just once, but continuously. That's how you become unstoppable, not by avoiding struggle, but by mastering your mind through it. Because the real transformation begins not in your circumstances, but in your thinking. Number 2, growing through challenges. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens in discomfort, in pressure, and in the moments when life tests you the most. The path to success is not smooth. It's filled with setbacks, failures, rejections, and detours. But what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck is not talent or luck. It's how they handle the hard moments. It's how they choose to respond when everything seems to fall apart. Truly successful people don't avoid failure, they embrace it. They understand that every challenge is an invitation to grow, and every setback is a stepping stone, not a dead end. The difference lies in perspective. Where one person sees defeat, another sees a lesson. Where one sees a reason to quit, another sees a reason to get better. And that mindset shift is the secret to becoming not just successful, but unstoppable. The concept of failing forward is at the heart of real growth. It means you don't let failure define you. You let it refine you. You fall, you get up, and you move forward a little wiser than before. Every mistake becomes feedback. Every rejection teaches resilience. Every obstacle strengthens character. This doesn't mean pretending failure feels good. It doesn't. It stings. It humbles you. But it also gives you something invaluable, the opportunity to evolve. When you stop seeing failure as something to fear and start seeing it as something to learn from, you transform your relationship with growth. You stop hesitating. You stop waiting for the perfect plan, and you start moving, experimenting, adjusting, and improving with every step. Failure stops being the end. It becomes part of the process. The most successful people didn't avoid struggle. They failed often, and they failed fast, but they failed forward. They used every misstep as momentum. When life throws challenges at you, and it will, your first instinct might be to resist, to complain, to retreat into frustration or fear. But here's a powerful truth. Discomfort is where the real transformation happens. It's easy to stay comfortable, to keep doing what you've always done, but nothing new grows in ease. It's the pressure that builds diamonds, it's the resistance that strengthens muscles, and it's the discomfort that forces you to stretch, adapt, and rise. The key is to shift how you see these moments. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'm learning how to do this." It's not about toxic positivity. It's about resilient thinking. It's about recognizing that even in the darkest moments, you have the power to choose a growth perspective. Because perspective doesn't just change how you see the challenge, it changes how you move through it. There are practical ways to develop this growth through challenges mindset. One strategy is to keep a growth journal. Every time you face a setback, write down what happened, how it made you feel, and most importantly, what it's teaching you. This simple act shifts your focus from frustration to reflection. Another strategy is to reframe your inner dialogue. When your mind starts spiraling into negativity, stop and ask, "What's the opportunity here?" Or "How can I grow from this?" That reframe doesn't erase the pain, but it gives it purpose. And when pain has purpose, it becomes powerful. A third strategy is to intentionally seek discomfort. That doesn't mean sabotaging yourself or chasing chaos. It means stepping into situations that stretch you. Apply for the opportunity you feel underqualified for. Have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Try the thing you're afraid to fail at. Each time you face discomfort head on, you train yourself to become stronger, more adaptable, and more courageous. And that's the kind of growth that lasts. One of the most inspiring examples of growing through challenges comes from someone who turned failure into fuel. Think about anyone who has faced rejection after rejection, who was told they weren't good enough, who stumbled countless times and yet kept going. These people didn't rise because they never struggled. They rose because they refused to let struggle stop them. They used pain as a prompt for progress. Their success wasn't despite the hardship. It was because of how they grew through it. Maybe you've experienced something similar. Maybe you've had a moment when everything fell apart. A relationship ended, a dream slipped through your fingers, you failed publicly, or lost something you cared deeply about. And maybe in that moment you thought it was over, but it wasn't. You're still here, still breathing, still capable of rewriting the story. That moment didn't break you. It began building a version of you that's wiser, braver, and more unstoppable than ever before. The challenge didn't defeat you, it developed you. That's what growth through challenge looks like. Not perfection, not an easy road, but resilience in action. It's important to understand that growth is messy. It's not linear. You won't always feel like you're making progress. Sometimes it feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it feels like standing still. But even in those moments, change is happening. Your mindset is expanding. Your capacity is increasing. Your emotional strength is deepening. The progress isn't always visible, but it's real. So don't give up because it feels hard. Keep going because it's hard. That's the space where breakthroughs are born. Every storm you weather teaches you how to stand taller. Every fall you rise from teaches you how to land better. Growth through challenge means you embrace the process, even when it's slow, even when it's painful, even when it feels like nothing's changing, because in time it does. And when it does, you'll look back and realize that the hardest parts of your journey were actually the most transformative. When you commit to growing through challenges, you step into your power. You stop waiting for easy, and you start choosing strength. You stop fearing failure, and you start embracing feedback. You stop running from struggle, and you start leaning into it because you know it's making you better. This doesn't mean you have to love the discomfort. It means you trust it. You trust that every challenge carries wisdom, every hardship carries growth, and every step forward, no matter how shaky, is still progress. That's how you build grit. That's how you develop mental toughness. And that's how you become someone who doesn't just survive life, but rises through it. Growth through challenge is not a once-in-a-while event. It's a lifestyle. It's a decision to show up, no matter what. And when you live like that, you don't just think and grow. You become unstoppable. Number 3, becoming mentally unstoppable. Becoming mentally unstoppable is not about having a life free of problems. It's about developing the strength to face those problems head on and push through them with unwavering resolve. Mental toughness is the foundation of lasting success. It's the inner strength that keeps you going when motivation fades, when obstacles pile up, and when everything inside you screams to give up. It's the grit that keeps you focused when distractions tempt you, the discipline that pulls you out of bed when your emotions tell you to quit, and the fire that keeps burning long after the initial spark of inspiration is gone. Mental toughness isn't just about surviving hardship, it's about thriving through it. It's about choosing progress over comfort, discipline over distraction, and purpose over temporary pleasure. And the good news is it's not something you're born with. It's something you build. One choice, one habit, one moment of courage at a time. To become mentally unstoppable, you need to train your mind the same way athletes train their bodies, with consistency, strategy, and intensity. The first key is discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's the commitment to long-term vision over short-term gratification. And discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The second key is focus. In a world filled with noise and distraction, your ability to focus becomes your superpower. Unstoppable people train themselves to block out what doesn't matter and zoom in on what does. They protect their time, guard their energy, and keep their eyes on their mission, no matter what chaos is swirling around them. And the third key is motivation, not the fleeting kind that shows up when things are exciting, but the deep internal kind that comes from knowing your why. Your why is the reason you get up early, keep pushing when it hurts, and say no to what doesn't serve you. When your purpose is clear, your path becomes powerful. But even with discipline, focus, and motivation, there will be moments when life hits hard. That's where mental tools come in, tools that help you reframe, regulate, and rise. One of the most powerful tools is reframing. Reframing means taking control of how you interpret challenges. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," you say, "This is helping me grow." Instead of saying, "Why me?" you say, "Try me." It's a shift in language that changes your entire mindset. Another tool is emotional regulation, the ability to feel your emotions without being ruled by them. This doesn't mean suppressing how you feel. It means pausing, processing, and then choosing a response that aligns with your goals. When you master your emotions, you master your momentum. Another key mindset tool is resilience training. That means intentionally putting yourself in situations that challenge you, stretch you, and build your mental calluses. Cold showers, intense workouts, fasting, early wake-ups, silence retreats. These things don't just test your willpower, they train it. They build grit. They make you stronger, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. If you want to become mentally unstoppable, you also need powerful routines, daily practices that prime your brain for performance, peace, and power. Start your day with intention. That could mean meditation, journaling, affirmations, visualization, or planning your top 3 priorities. Even just 5 minutes of silence before the world starts pulling at your attention can shift your entire day. Exercise is another crucial routine, not just for your body, but for your mind. Movement releases endorphins, clears your thoughts, and builds the habit of pushing through resistance. End your day with reflection. What did you win today? What challenged you? What did you learn? This nightly audit helps you track growth and stay grounded in your journey. Also, limit your exposure to negativity, news, toxic people, fear-based content. What you consume shapes how you think. Fill your mind with messages that remind you of your strength, not your limits. These routines aren't glamorous. They're not always fun. But over time, they create a mind that doesn't crumble under pressure. It thrives under it. One of the most powerful examples of mental toughness is the story of someone who had every reason to quit but refused. Think of someone who grew up without support, faced rejection after rejection, and still pushed forward with fire in their eyes. They didn't have a perfect plan. They didn't always know how things would work out, but they kept showing up. They kept choosing discipline when motivation ran out. They kept moving forward when fear was loud. And because they refused to stop, they eventually broke through. That's what it means to be mentally unstoppable. It's not about never feeling doubt or fear. It's about refusing to be controlled by them. It's about building a mindset so strong that even in chaos, you move with clarity. Even in failure, you rise with focus. And even in pain, you act with purpose. You don't become mentally unstoppable overnight. It's built brick by brick through every choice you make. When you choose to wake up early and keep your promises, when you train your mind to seek solutions instead of problems, when you push one more rep at the gym, one more hour on your craft, one more day without giving in, that's when the shift happens. That's when your identity starts to change. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes to win and start seeing yourself as someone who expects to win because you've trained for it, you've earned it, and that confidence isn't fake. It's forged in the fire of your effort, in the silence of your discipline, in the discomfort of your daily growth. Becoming mentally unstoppable is not about being the loudest or the flashiest. It's about being the most consistent, the most grounded, the most committed to becoming your best self, no matter what life throws your way. So if you're ready to step into your full power, stop waiting for motivation and start building discipline. Stop seeking comfort and start seeking challenge. Stop reacting to life and start creating it. Because once you master your mind, you master your life. And when your mindset becomes unstoppable, so do you. Number 4, real-life examples of unstoppable people. There's something incredibly powerful about real stories, ordinary people who stared down the impossible and still moved forward. It reminds us that greatness isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's not about having all the answers or perfect circumstances. It's about a decision, a mindset shift that says, I'm not giving up no matter what. And when that shift happens, it becomes the catalyst for transformation. Take, for example, the story of a single mother working 3 jobs to keep her family afloat. She didn't grow up with opportunity. She didn't have wealth or connections or even much time. But what she did have was an unshakable belief that she could change her reality. She stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, what can I do about it? Every night after putting her kids to bed, she studied. She learned a new skill. She built an online business 1 hour at a time. At first, it seemed impossible. She was exhausted. Doubt crept in. But she kept visualizing a different life, kept feeding her mind with empowering thoughts, and kept showing up. Years later, not only did she grow that side hustle into a full-time income, but she also became a coach, helping other women break free from their limiting beliefs. Her entire life changed because she changed her mind. Then there's the story of a young man who barely made it out of high school. Everyone told him he'd never succeed. He had no degree, no fancy resume, no roadmap, but he had something more valuable, a growth mindset. He realized that his past didn't define his potential. Instead of labeling himself a failure, he started seeing himself as a work in progress. He read everything he could about entrepreneurship and personal development. He surrounded himself with people who challenged him to rise higher. And when he failed, and he failed a lot, He didn't give up. He analyzed what went wrong, adjusted, and tried again. 10 years later, he owns multiple businesses. But more importantly, he's created a life filled with meaning, freedom, and purpose. The most important shift: he stopped waiting to feel ready. He understood that confidence isn't the cause of action. It's the result of consistent effort. That one insight changed everything. Or think about the athlete who shattered expectations, not because of her physical strength, but because of her mental strength. Early in her career, she was told she'd never make it to the top level. Too small, not fast enough, not gifted enough. But she didn't internalize those labels. She redefined what success meant to her. She focused on her mindset, her work ethic, her resilience. She showed up to every practice with intention. She journaled her progress, visualized victory, and leaned into challenges with gratitude. Every time she lost, she didn't see it as failure, she saw it as feedback. And eventually, that mindset turned her into a champion, not because she was the most talented, but because she refused to stop growing. Her story proves that mental toughness can take you further than raw talent ever will. What ties all of these stories together isn't luck. It's not special privilege or a magic formula. It's the decision to think differently, to believe fiercely, and to grow relentlessly. These people faced rejection, uncertainty, pain, and fear, but they didn't run from it. They used it. They understood that obstacles aren't the end. They're the beginning. And that mindset gave them power. It gave them vision. And eventually, it gave them victory. So what can you take from these stories? The lesson is simple but powerful. You don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to start. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to believe that it's possible and take one step at a time. You don't need to wait for permission, clarity, or a miracle. Everything you need is already inside you. The only thing standing in your way is the belief that you can't do it. And once you replace that belief with possibility, everything begins to change. What helped these people the most wasn't external resources. It was internal resolve. They practiced gratitude when things were hard. They used affirmations to rewire their self-talk. They visualized the life they wanted with intensity. They got around mentors or books that challenged their thinking. They treated every failure like a classroom, and they stayed consistent even when progress was invisible. These are tools that anyone can use, tools that you can use right now. Because here's the truth. There's no such thing as someone who is born unstoppable. That's a title you earn with your mindset, with your growth, with your grit. You become unstoppable when you decide that no matter what happens, you're not turning back. When you choose faith over fear, learning over losing, and discipline over doubt. So if you've ever wondered if you're capable of more, the answer is yes. If you've ever felt like giving up, remember that the most inspiring success stories were written by people who felt the same way, but kept going anyway. You are more powerful than you've been told, more capable than you realize, and more worthy than you've allowed yourself to believe. Greatness isn't a title. It's a decision, a mindset, a journey. One that starts the moment you stop waiting and start growing. Because when you commit to that mindset, you're not just changing your life, you're creating a story worth telling. You're becoming the proof that anyone can rise, anyone can evolve, and anyone can become truly unstoppable. Ready for the conclusion? I can write it next to wrap everything up powerfully. If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Your thoughts shape your reality. The way you think about yourself, your potential, your challenges, it all becomes the foundation of the life you build. When you believe in limitations, you live small. But when you choose to believe in possibility, growth, and personal power, you begin to rewrite what's possible for you. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It's forged in the fire of challenge. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who have it easy. They're the ones who keep moving forward when it's hard. They embrace discomfort as the classroom of transformation. And at the heart of it all is mental toughness, the ability to stay focused, committed, and resilient, when life doesn't go as planned. That's what makes someone unstoppable. Not luck, not talent, but mindset, grit, and relentless self-belief. So here's your challenge. Take one action today that moves you toward your growth. Maybe it's catching yourself when a limiting belief shows up and replacing it with an empowering truth. Maybe it's writing down a goal that feels almost too big and committing to the first step. Maybe it's saying yes to something that scares you because deep down you know it'll stretch you. Whatever it is, take it today. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Just start. Because the difference between who you are and who you want to be lies in what you choose to do right now. Ask yourself, what's one unstoppable habit you're going to build starting today? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear what step you're taking to think bigger, grow stronger, and move toward that unstoppable version of yourself. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join this movement of growth-minded people who are choosing to level up their lives, one mindset shift at a time. And don't just watch, engage. Share your thoughts. Share your journey. You never know who might need your words to push through their own limits. Here's the truth. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need everything to be perfect. You just need to believe it's possible and be willing to grow into the person who makes it real. So stop playing small. Stop waiting for signs. You are the sign. You are the shift. You are the force that can change your life. Think big, grow strong, and become truly unstoppable.